9 weeks, Vanessa.
Oh, he's 9 weeks old. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. That's so sweet. Come here, Darla. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. And here comes Darla. Darla, sit down for the camera. Don't fight. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Hey, hey, hey. Look. Aren't they cute? How old is Darla?
9 months.
9 months. And 9 weeks. Yes. Okay, now fight. Fight. No, you couldn't kiss. Yeah. Can you pick her in there and get her? Look at the teeth of the doggy. Look at the teeth of the doggy. Did you focus in on the top? I shall tell a tale. Excuse me if I speak amiss. My intention is good. In the land of Tartary there lived a king. This noble king was named Cambiuscan. He was so famous in his day that there was nowhere in any land a lord so outstanding in all ways. He lacked no kingly trait. He was brave, discreet, rich, merciful, and just without partiality. He was gracious, honorable, young, strong, and very handsome. He had a daughter whose name was Candace. I have neither the words nor the skill to tell you of her beauty. That's good, Mom. And so it happened that when Cambiuscan had ruled for 20 years, he had had a birthday feast announced throughout the city. The weather was pleasant and invigorating, and the birds, because of the sunshine and the budding season, loudly sang their love songs. Cambiuscan, whom I was telling you about, sat high in his palace. He wore his royal robes and crown, and held his feast, the richest and most impressive in all the world. If I told you about all the sights there, it would take up many summers' days. Okay. It happened after the third course, while the king sat thus in splendor, listening to his minstrels standing beside the table, playing their delightful songs, that a knight upon a brass horse suddenly entered the hall door. In his hand he carried a large glass mirror. He wore a gold ring upon his thumb, and a naked sword hung by his side. He rode up to the head of the table, not a word spoken. The strange knight who had entered so suddenly was completely and richly armed except for his head. He saluted the king and queen and all the lords in order in which they sat in the hall.
My lord, King of Arabia and India, salutes you on this most festive occasion. He sends by me this finest brass steed, This steed can carry you through drought or rain, through fair and foul, and will take you as high as the eagle soar, no matter if you are asleep or awake on its back. The man who made this horse observed many constellations before he completed this task. The king also sends this mirror, which has great powers. It can tell you of misfortune before it reaches you or your realm. It can also tell you who is your friend and who is your foe. Nothing can be hidden from the powers of this mirror. Also, the last gift is this powerful sword which hangs by my side. It has the power to pierce any armor, and any man wounded by a strike of this sword can only be healed by the touch of the flat of the blade. All this is true without exaggeration, and the sword will never fail in your hands.
Sleep, the nurse of digestion, blinked at the revelers and instructed them to remember that excessive drinking and exercise make rest necessary. They slept until fully 9 o'clock, almost everybody except Candace. She was temperate, as women usually are, for she had taken leave of her father to go to bed soon after nightfall.
I wish to get up. I'd like to walk around.
Then she walked out at a leisurely pace, properly dressed for the sweet season, to take the air and roam around with 5 or 6 of her people. As Candace was enjoying her stroll, there was a falcon sitting in a tree, dry and white as chalk, high over her head. The falcon began to cry in a piteous voice that made the whole wood resound. She had beaten herself so mercilessly with both her wings that the red blood ran down the length of the tree in which she sat. Continually she cried and screamed, and so tore herself with her beak that there was no tiger or other cruel beast dwelling in the woods. Candace, the beautiful daughter of a sovereign who wore on her finger the strange ring through which she could understand the speech of any bird and answer in its own language, understood that what this falcon said, and almost died of pity. Hastily she went to the tree, looked up pityingly at this falcon, held out the skirt of her gown, for she knew very well that the falcon must fall from the limb when it next fainted from loss of blood. She stood a long while watching her, then at last spoke to the bird, as you will now hear.
Cut. What is the cause, if it may be told, of your suffering these furious pains of hell? Is it grief from death, or from loss of love? For I think that these are the 2 causes which most grieve a gentle heart. Truly you are killing me with your sorrow. I have such compassion for you. And surely as I am the daughter of the king, if I know the real cause of your troubles, and it lies in my power to do so, I will mend it before nightfall. So help me, great God of nature. I shall find plenty of herbs to heal your wounds quickly.
Shall explain my trouble to you, not in the hope of improving my situation, but to obey your kind request. There lived near me a falcon who seemed the well of all courtesy. Though he was full of treachery and falseness, it was so hidden under humility, the colors of truth, gaiety, and industrious service, that no one could have guessed that it was all pretense. So deeply had he dyed his colors. He pretended to pay court to me for so many years that my heart, too pitying, and simple, all innocent of his consummate malice, afraid that, granted my love to him, I had fully granted him my love, as I had explained, and had freely given him my true heart. He swore that his heart was mine. This lasted longer than a year or two, and I thought only good of him. But things were such that at last fortune decreed that he must leave the place where I was. As a result, I know what the pain of death is. I heard him speak and observed his face. Indeed, I thought that he was faithful, and also that he would return in a short time to tell the truth. And it seemed so reasonable that he had to leave in order to maintain his honor. There is no need to repeat his answer. Who can speak better and act worse than he? Men, by their very nature, love newfangled things, as do birds kept in a cage. For though you care for a bird day and night, and strow his cage well, making it as silk, and give him sugar, honey, bread, and milk to eat, as soon as the cage door is opened, he will overturn the cup with his feet and fly to the woods to eat worms.
And all her women made great lamentation over the falcon's betrayal. Candace took the bird home in her gown and gently wrapped bandages around the places where she had wounded herself with her beak. Candace busied herself and did all she could. By the head of her bed she made a cage and covered it with blue velvet as a sign of woman's fidelity. The cage was painted green on the outside with pictures of all the unfaithful birds, wrens, falcons, and owls. Just for spite, magpies were painted nearby to scold them. The end.